This is the training video for the Haemabank blood fridges in use at the Royal Bolton Hospital. Our fridges at Bolton are the Haemabank 20 with the kiosk on the top. The BloodTrack system is used for the collection of blood components. BloodTrack controls access to the blood fridge, it monitors cold chain compliance, and it keeps track of each unit's location so it can be dispensed safely and accurately. BloodTrack electronically documents the movements of units from one location to another. This completes the cold chain audit trail of the unit in real time without the need for manually recording transactions. BloodTrack is faster and more efficient than handwritten records and records an immediate warning if a unit has been out of temperature control or if established rules of blood collection have been violated. Requirements for blood collection. Only staff members that have received the Trust practical training and completed their blood collection competencies are permitted to collect or return blood components to the blood fridges. For collection, you will need your assigned barcode, which will be allocated to you following successful training and competency assessment. This must not be shared with other members of staff. All actions are fully auditable by the BloodTrack system. When collecting blood components, you must have on your person an authorised collection document. This will be a transfusion prescription document which must contain details of the intended patient. This will be patient's full name, date of birth, the hospital number, the type of blood component to be collected, and the destination for delivery. These requirements are to ensure that the right component is being collected for the right patient. This ensures safe transfusion practice. I'm going to talk through now taking out blood on BloodTrack. To start, you need to scan your barcode under the infrared light, then touch taking out. The kiosk does talk to you and you'll be prompted to put in the patient's details either by scanning the patient's barcode or entering the hospital number. This must include the RMC prefix and the number. Then press search. The display will show the intended patient's details. It is important to take your time and check the patient's details against the prescription, checking that it is for who it is intended for by ensuring the correct name and spelling, the correct date of birth, and the correct hospital number. If the details are correct, select Yes. Then select type of product, either red cells or fresh frozen plasma. The fridge will unlock and you will be prompted to take out the allocated unit for your patient. The location of the unit will be highlighted by the blood fridge. The corresponding tray will light up blue. There should only be one unit per tray. It's important to check the unit selected is correct by checking the compatibility label attached to the unit, checking that the unit is for the patient you are collecting for, check that it matches your collection documentation, check that the unit is within its expiry date. You need to check the donor number on the tags matches the component label, and you need to check the integrity of the unit, checking for any clots or visual damage to the packaging. If there are any discrepancies at all, do not collect and seek help from the lab staff. To scan the unit out, you need to scan the unit number on the component. Please note this is an essential step that must be performed. Scanning the unit is effectively your signature to say that all the necessary checks have been performed and you are removing the unit out of the fridge. If you perform this correctly, you will see a green tick. You'll then be asked if you require another unit, which you press yes or no accordingly. Each unit must be scanned out of the fridge by repeating the above process. If you've accidentally pressed yes to a further unit, don't worry. Simply follow the process of collection, remove the unit from the fridge and scan out. You can then immediately scan your barcode, touching putting in, and return the unit to the fridge. It is policy that only one unit of blood may be collected at a time when delivering to the patient's bedside, except in an emergency situation when 2 units of emergency blood can be collected for one patient. All blood components must be transported throughout the hospital in a small orange transport bag. Delivering the unit straight to the required location and hand the unit directly to a clinical member of staff. Ensure receipt and that the clinical staff member checks that the correct unit has been collected for the correct patient. Never leave the unit unattended. If on collection you are presented with a tray that is empty, there is a button in the bottom left hand corner of the screen that says "Touch here if empty." This will take you to the next available unit for your patient if there is one available. Please note, this button must only ever be used if the tray is genuinely empty. Never use this button because you have made a mistake or do not want to collect. If a unit is in a tray, remember you are telling the system that nothing is there, so you are effectively putting the unit into limbo by doing so, and the unit will be unavailable for collection. I'm now going to talk you through putting blood in on BloodTrack. All red blood cells and fresh frozen plasma must be returned to a BloodTrack fridge. To ensure that cold chain compliance has been maintained, all blood units must be returned to an assigned temperature controlled environment within 30 minutes. This is known as the 30-minute rule. To place a unit back into the BloodTrack fridge, firstly scan your barcode, touch putting in, then scan the unit number. The door will then unlock. Place the unit in the highlighted tray. There should only ever be one unit stored per tray. If you have done this correctly, you will see a green tick. The unit has been returned within 30 minutes and is eligible for collection up until the end of the reservation period. Scan each unit that is required to be put back into the fridge. Once you are done, touch Log Out. If you are returning a unit beyond the 30-minute collection time, the kiosk will inform the staff member to contact the lab for advice and say unit transport time has exceeded. Don't panic. It is important to return all units as soon as possible, as soon as the decision has been made that the unit is no longer required. The fridge will still unlock and you will still be able to store the unit in the fridge. However, the unit will be quarantined and unavailable for further collection. BloodTrack will inform the lab of a unit being returned outside of cold chain compliance and they will investigate appropriately. If you find that on returning a unit, the tray selected for you has already got a unit in it, in the bottom left hand corner of the screen it will say "Touch here if tray is not empty." Press this and this will take you to the next available tray. Emergency blood will be available in the blood fridges for use if a patient requires immediate transfusion. It is medical decision when to obtain the emergency blood. To obtain the emergency blood, first of all, scan your user ID barcode, select emergency units, enter the patient's hospital number or scan the barcode. As a last resort, the ward area can be inputted, but only if the hospital number and barcode are not available. Confirm the patient. You'll then need to select the correct age and gender of the patient. If this is unknown, then select Unknown. The fridge will unlock and you'll be prompted to take out the unit for your patient. The location of the unit will be highlighted by the blood fridge. The corresponding tray will light up blue. There should only be one unit per tray. You then scan the unit number. If you scan out the unit correctly, you will see a green tick. You will then be asked if you require another unit. Press yes or no accordingly. Each unit must be scanned out of the fridge by repeating the above process. For note, the emergency unit allocated by the fridge may be O-RHD positive or O-RHD negative, depending on the patient's age and gender. Don't forget to inform the lab that the emergency unit has been taken out as soon as is possible so that the lab staff can restock the fridge. Also, it's important to mention if any units are unused, please return them to the fridge within 30 minutes. In extreme emergency situations, blood components may be taken direct to the ward areas by the porters using the blood transportation boxes. A blood register sheet will need to be signed, dated and timed as the components are taken out of the box for use. Any unused red cells or plasma units must be placed back into the fridge within 4 hours of being packed in the box, using the same procedure for placing units in the fridge. If a patient requires platelets, these will need to be collected directly from the lab. Platelets may also be sent straight to the ward in an emergency situation in a blood box. If platelets are received in a box, then the blood register sheet must be signed, dated and timed as they are removed from the box. It is important to remember that platelets must never be stored in a fridge. If they aren't to be used, it's important to send them straight back to the lab. In the unlikely event that the system is not working, blood components will need to be obtained directly from the transfusion lab. The BloodTrack system is there to guide you. For safe collection practice, you must be trained for collection, have an authorised collection document, check the unit, ensure the correct unit is being collected for the correct patient. Once you have seen this training video, please inform your practice educator or Cascade trainer, including the date you viewed it. They will then inform the transfusion staff and your training records will be updated. Once you have completed your blood collection competencies, this does not have to be repeated unless you have been involved in a blood collection incident or if you have not used the fridge for 12 months. If you are inactive on BloodTrack for 12 months, your access will be stopped. You will then need to have face-to-face training before being given access to use the fridge. I will now demonstrate the real-time use of the fridge.
Scan the next unit number or touch in or out. Are you taking out or putting in into the patient information? Confirm the patient details. Select the type of product or remove the unit from the tray. Scan the unit number. Good. Do you want another unit for the same patient? Are you taking out or putting in? Scan the unit number. Store the unit in the tray.